Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria. For delivery, call 603-782-8450. Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town. 1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Best cocktails around. Come in as friends and leave as family.
You are listening to WMNHLP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA.
It's been 7 hours and 15 days since you took your love away. I go out every night and sleep all day since you took your love away. Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whomever I choose. I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but nothing, I said nothing can take away this blues. Like a bird without a song. Nothing can stop these lonely tears from falling. Tell me, baby, where did I go wrong? I put my arms around every
me sinking and always thinking you should get down to birds deep underwater. All the traffic lights are blue and the road lead back to you. In a sea of invitations, they call you madly. I look around to see all the shiny blue bubbles, shiny blue bubbles, shiny blue bubbles, shiny blue. Deep into the top, the hunter makes a strike. Chop it then before the stew. Night is bending back to you. Oh, everybody's going down.
All of you losers
Welcome, everybody. Here we go. It is that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Wednesday, July 26, 2023. So nice to have you all with me. Got a great show planned. Of course, it is Wednesday, so my favorite conservative, Erich Pilcher, will be Skyping in momentarily, and we have much to discuss, as always. By the way, for those watching online and, of course, on Comcast 97, I've got my new shirt that Jenny brought back for me from Washington, D.C., another very successful trip there, and such great work and activism that she's doing there, though. So my wonderful Be a Hero shirt, which goes very well, I think, with my People's Action hat. So very nice. And it's an extra large, which is actually a good thing that it's a little baggy because it's white. And I find, I wear a lot of black because it's black is very slimming. So if I'm going to wear something white, it should be a little baggy. Yeah, I'm a little vain in some ways, I suppose. But so welcome, everybody, to the program. I did open with, just quickly, I played a few things today. I did open with Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor, who tragically just passed away at the age of 56. That was obviously by far her biggest hit, the one she's most well known for. Coincidentally, Pauly C had played Prince's version of that last Friday night on Retro Spectrum Radio because it was another episode of original versions of popular songs. And Prince's had written a lot of songs that other people recorded and had big hits with. But and I actually, it's funny. Usually I end up, if I go back and hear the Prince version of a popular song, the original version that Prince did, I usually say that I like that version better. But I didn't like Prince's version of Nothing Compares to You. I think Paul and Mike from Queen City Cabinetry were out of the room, but Steve and I were talking about it, DJ Steve, and we were both kind of like, Prince's version is kind of flat. So probably just as well that Sinead O'Connor was able to have a big hit with it. But so she just passed away. And I did also play Deep Diver from the band Grandma Mousy. And yesterday on the show, we were joined by Josh Garcia from the band Grandma Mousy. And really enjoyed that a lot. This is and what was the other? Oh, and of course I played I'm the Man from Jerry and the Scumbags, and I decided to play that. That was a last minute addition because that song has that smoking guitar solo from Erich Pilcher, of course, the stage name of Erich Pilcher, who is with us via Skype. Hello, sir.
Yes, just my magical guitar strumming. I call it the power of the thump.
Yes, that's quite the thumb. Very impressive.
Yes.
The power of the thumb. Is that like a technique that you learned, or perhaps you're the pioneer of it, the thumb?
Like I said, I just picked up the guitar and felt the power of so many great guitarists come over me. I just went with it.
And they just channel right through your thumb.
Yes. Kirk Hammett, Mick Mars.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We might have talked a little bit about him on the show.
Yes, we might have. Yes. The power of the thumb. Very good. Very good. By the way, so I'm just catching up on Sinead O'Connor. Do you know why she died?
I think the last I read, the family was keeping it pretty private. I do know, and I always feel icky bringing this up when someone dies.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to disparage them.
Right.
And so that's not my intent, but I do know she did struggle with mental health issues.
That's what I'm wondering, yeah. And of course, her son had committed suicide, right? At age 17. Yeah. I mean, and I would imagine that's not something you ever recover from as a parent. And so
I I can't even imagine, honestly. Like, one of the other things that bothers me when someone is going through a tough time is when someone that you know has no idea what it feels like. They're like, oh, I understand exactly what you're going through.
Mm.
And it's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Like no. You have no idea. That'd be like me when someone's like, you don't know what it's like to lose a kid. And I'm like, when I was, 17, we had to put my dog down. So I know what it feels like. No, you don't.
Well, when people say that, though, I mean, they mean well. They're trying to be empathetic.
They do. And I guess, like, for me, it's like, false platitudes are the worst thing you can do. Because everyone says, I'm here if you need anything. Help with this funeral. Anything but that.
Yeah, that is interesting. I've noticed that too. People will say that, if you need anything at all, just let me know. Like, really? You sure?
Sure. That casket is oak with metal and cloth lining. So if you want to go ahead and drop a couple G's in that basket there, that'd be appreciated.
Right. Yeah. I know what you mean. But people do mean well. And sometimes people say things, I think, because they just don't know what to say. It's so, because it's tricky because everyone is unique in terms of how they grieve. No two people are alike in exactly how they grieve. And I've always found that one of the most challenging things in dealing with someone, if someone's close to me and they've suffered loss, it's like trying to figure out how to, on the one hand, be there for them and want them to know that I'm there for them while at the same time not being intrusive. Because sometimes all people want is space. And so it can be actually overwhelming while people mean well, they're trying to be there for that person, but really that person needs a little bit of space, but they don't know how to communicate that because they're grieving. And it's just all very complicated. You know what, Erich? Actually, I think the real problem is death. We need to, if science could get rid of that, then we wouldn't have to deal with all this grief.
I agree. Mm-hmm. And if science were to get rid of that, I mean, man, we could have some really good music.
Yes.
We really could. And, there'd be less victims in the world.
Right.
Like murder.
That's true, too. Oh, we're going to get to that. But, so I did. So the BBC has an article up, just a short article, just to get people caught up quickly on Sinead O'Connor. But, she died today at the age of 56. It says here, in a statement, the singer's family said, quote, "It is with great sadness that we announce the passing of our beloved Sinead. Her family and friends are devastated and have requested privacy at this very difficult time," unquote. She was best known for her single, Nothing Compares to You, released in, 1990. Wow. Which went on to hit number 1 around the world. Yeah, that was a massive hit. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing it. Irish President Michael D. Higgins praised O'Connor's authenticity as well as her beautiful, unique voice. He said, quote, "What Ireland has lost at such a relatively young age is one of our greatest and most gifted composers, songwriters, and performers of recent decades. One who had a unique talent with and extraordinary connection with her audience, all of whom held such love and warmth for her," unquote. She was born in December of 1966. And had a difficult childhood. As a teenager, she was placed in Dublin's, I don't know how to say that name. Once one of the, we'll skip that part. But a nun brought her a guitar and set her up with a music teacher, which led to the launch of O'Connor's musical career. Interesting. She released her first critically acclaimed album, The Lion and the Cobra, in 1987, which entered the top 40 in the UK and US. Her follow-up, I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got, which included Nothing Compares to You. Written by Prince, the song reached number 1 around the world, including the US and the UK. O'Connor, who was outspoken in her social and political views, released 10 studio albums between 1987 and 2014. In 1992, I remember this. I remember watching this live, seeing this live on television.
SNL.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. In 1992, one of the most notable events of her career took place when she ripped up a picture of Pope John Paul II on the U.S. TV show Saturday Night Live, where she was the invited performer. And by the way, yeah, I remember watching that live, and she did that, and there's silence which was unheard of, no pun intended, because, she finishes her song, and then, and then there's applause, right? And they go to break, but she finishes, that's what's supposed to happen, but she finishes her song and she does that. And I forget exactly what she said. And then there's just dead silence because nobody knew how to react. It was very strange.
Another group got that same response. Rage Against the Machine got it there one time. They were on SNL.
Now, I never saw that. I've read about that, but I never saw it.
Yeah, I'm a huge Rage Against the Machine fan, which does shock a lot of people.
Oh, I am too.
When I tell them that, given my political views.
Yeah, but everybody likes Rage. Like, it doesn't, like, you don't have to agree with them on anything. This has been my experience. People who disagree with Rage Against the Machine on absolutely everything ideologically still love the band.
I agree. I love their song Bulls on Parade.
Oh, me too.
I mean,
yeah.
It's not just that, like, if you ever want to get, like, Rage Hulk mode, you listen to Bulls on Parade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just love the meaning of it. Sleep Now in the Fire is a landmark music video for what it did, even though it's directed by a complete insufferable little toe rag, Michael Moore. But nonetheless, and I for current reasons in my personal life right now, I love the song Testify.
Yes. Yeah.
The name of their entire first album, which I own on vinyl.
Yeah.
It is just so powerful.
Rodeo is probably my personal favorite, but I can't think of a Rage song I don't like. Also, I've played on the show Guerrilla Radio to open the show. The radio edit, of course, because there's a bad word in the album version. Yeah. But
the version of Maggie's Farm is...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everyone forgets about that because it came from Renegades of Funk.
Yeah.
But in that album is just... And I don't understand why. It's a great album.
Yeah.
Even though it's mainly covers and just 2 original songs.
Yeah.
And the band was essentially... They didn't even record it together because there was so much dissension between Zach De La Rocha and Tom Morello at that point.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh,
yeah.
So what happened when they were on SNL? You said...
I actually pulled that up.
Yeah.
Basically, what ended up happening is this is when Evil Empire came out, and they won. I'm pulling it up now. It had to do with the flag. Basically, the producers of the show were clueless to book the most publicly left-wing band on the same night they asked billionaire Republican presidential host.
Oh, that's right.
Forbes to host the show.
That's right. Yes.
So they draped an upside down American flag over their amps.
Yeah.
And a crew member ripped the flags down before they started their set.
Yeah.
And they went out there and essentially were PO'd. They played Bulls on Parade, and you could tell they were visibly angry about this. And it was pretty widely known they were mad about it, and they went back to the green room and were told they would not be able to perform their second song, Bullet in the Head.
Oh, okay. Right. I remember now Tom Morello talking about that in his Howard Stern interview. Yeah.
I mean, and here's the deal with that. One, I'm torn on both the Sinead O'Connor situation and the Rage situation. And here's why. Saturday Night Live, at its premise, was cutting edge.
Right.
Did things on TV you were not supposed to do.
Yeah, supposed to be a little edgy. Yeah.
Yes. So to kind of diminish these artists' voices, to me, takes away from what made SNL great. And I understand the symbolism behind the American flag flying upside down. I get that could be seen as horribly offensive, especially to veterans.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I hate saying this, but this is why you fought.
Well, yeah, that's right. Exactly.
To share their opinions and views. I don't agree with ever flying the flag upside down.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's disrespectful. But if you're going to do it, one, accept the backlash that comes with it.
Sure.
And two, if you see it and you don't like it, you can complain about it, but understand that A, that's a part of living in a great free society like we do,
mm-hmm.
and you have the freedom to complain about it.
Exactly.
They have to fly it upside down.
Exactly.
So you don't have to agree with it. You don't even have to respect it, but don't try to censor it.
Right. Yeah. No, I fully agree. That's always been my attitude about it.
And in regards to Sinead O'Connor ripping up a picture of the Pope, I mean, who cares?
Yeah, well, I mean, it wrecked her career. A lot of people cared at the time. I remember there was, I don't think it mentions it here in the article, so I might not get the details exactly right, but I seem to recall shortly after that, she played a show. She had a big show at, because she was a big star in this period. She had a big show at Madison Square. I think it was at Madison Square Garden. It was in some iconic venue, and she goes out there, and they actually booed her. They booed her off the stage. It was either her show or she was appearing. She was appearing at on somebody else's show. She was a guest coming out to do a song with them or something. It might have been somebody else's show that she was appearing at. I say that only because for some reason, and this detail stands out in my mind. For some reason, Chris Christopherson was backstage, and she apparently ran backstage and he gave her a hug to comfort her because she was so upset because it really shattered her going out on stage and they're all booing her and because this was right after that happened on SNL.
Well, SNL did a pretty inflammatory skit making fun of her.
I don't remember that.
It's one of my favorite skits they've ever done.
Really?
It's called The Sinatra Group. It features Phil Hartman as Frank Sinatra.
Sinatra was great.
Yes, but listen to the rest of the roundup. You have Chris Rock as Luther Campbell.
Wait, I do remember this now. Keep going. But yeah, I do remember this now. Yes.
Jan Lees as Sinead O'Connor, and I think they actually had Billy Idol as Billy Idol. And it is just some of the most, incendiary right-wing views from Frank Sinatra you could ever hear. And it's what got Frank Sinatra mad at SNL.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. He hated the Phil Hartman impersonation. And that skit is what really did it. In the book Live from New York, they go into detail about, he was livid. He said that if he ever saw Phil Hartman in public, he would punch him.
Oh, my God. Wow.
He hated Phil Hartman.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. To be fair, Luther Campbell thought the Chris Rock bit was hilarious. Nah, kid, you got something for you. And he's like, I don't have any talent.
Yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah.
Billy Idol's just like, he's right. He sucks. Oh, you had Mike Myers as a part of it, and as Steve and Edie.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, Steve, go kick Billy Idol's butt. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's on YouTube, and that I believe I'm about 90% certain they did it after her appearance, and it just is not like Phil Hartman calls her cue ball at one point.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
He basically goes, if you were a man, you'd be an oil stain on the road. It's like, man.
Yeah. Well, just to kind of finish up on the Sinead thing. So on going back to this article on a more serious note. So this was just last year. It says here, and again, this is from the BBC. O'Connor's 17-year-old son Shane died last year, days after he was reported missing. And again, that was a suicide, apparently. Writing on social media following his death, she said he had, quote, decided to end his earthly struggle and requested no one follows his example, unquote. So obviously he had mental health struggles, which can often be hereditary. So, the singer later canceled all live performances for the rest of 2022 due to her continuing grief following the death of her son. Like I said, that's, I can't imagine that's something you ever recover from. O'Connor paid tribute to Shane, and one of her final tweets, calling him the love of my life, the lamp of my soul. We were one soul in two halves.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. One of her final tweets. So obviously his death was on her mind.
I hate saying this, but I'm going to be that guy. I think I didn't hear anything about her being sick, and you would almost believe that you would have. I'm going to lean on the side of something happened mental health wise.
Yeah.
Until they're different is let known. Just because that tweet, and you didn't hear anything about her being sick, like I said.
Right.
So
right.
Very sad and unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible that she was sick and just was very even in this social media era. Sometimes people are still able to conceal it, so it is possible. I say that because just an example that just happens to leap to mind. I remember waking up one morning to the news that David Bowie had passed away, and a few years ago, and I had no idea he had been sick. He was able to keep it very, very quiet.
Right.
Or Glenn Fry from the Eagles. That was another one that just seemed to come out of nowhere. I was like, I didn't know the guy was sick. So it is possible.
I find it's easier if they don't reside in the United States. I don't think David Bowie was living in the States.
No, I don't think he was. No.
I know Sinead O'Connor isn't. I remember seeing her, want to say 2 years ago, maybe 3. She sang Conor McGregor out for one of his UFC fights.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, I mean, Conor McGregor is
they're both Irish.
Pro-Irish.
Yeah.
And he does a lot in Ireland as well. So
yeah,
it's just for show. So it made sense. It was, I don't want to, it was off-putting, but it was really moving to see him come out in the green lights with her singing, and it was a cool moment.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
it's interesting.
Different for the UFC.
What? How long ago was that?
2-3 years ago.
Okay.
I forget. I'm on a computer, so I can easily look it up.
Yeah, I was just curious. I didn't know about it, but
Conor McGregor actually tweeted that I have lost a friend and gutted. That he feels gutted. UFC 189 fight with Chad Mendes.
What year? What year did you say?
It was for Conor McGregor's fight with Chad Mendes at UFC 189, which occurred in 2015.
Oh, so that was a while ago. Okay.
Yeah, it was 8 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. God.
I was way off.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I'm really stuck on that. Like, as I'm looking at this article, my eyes keep going back to that tweet about her son.
Yeah.
The love of my life, the lamp of my soul. We were one soul in two halves. God.
I mean,
that's like, oh, Jesus. That's hard.
I don't even know what I would say if someone I knew had that much pain.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Like, I don't know what. I mean, I would do everything I could to try to let them know, like, you're loved and everything like that. But, like, I don't know. Like you said earlier, what do you say?
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine the person experiencing that kind of pain would probably tell you there's nothing you can, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would hope I would know the person well enough. So maybe I could do something.
Yeah.
To get them, like, I don't want to say out of that rut because, again, I don't think you ever recover from that.
Yeah. I don't imagine you do. I mean, these wounds were, see, this was just last year. That was in 2022. So that's fresh. That's recent. That was just last year. So, oh God. Well, I mean, I imagine we'll learn more in the coming days, but that's rough. And I think your instinct about what probably happened is correct. I mean, I was thinking the same thing. So.
I mean, and you don't want to. There's a right way to say it and a wrong way to say it, and I certainly hope I conveyed the right way.
Yeah.
I don't want to be insensitive or be like, she offed herself.
Right,
right. Because so many people are going to say that in the coming days, and I've always felt that whether you like the person or not, understand that there are still people grieving for them.
Right.
I really, when Rush Limbaugh died, I saw some of the most disgusting, distasteful things said.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, you don't have to like him, but how would you feel if that was your grandpa and you saw someone tweet that about your grandfather and he just died, or post that on Facebook? How would you feel?
Right. Yeah, I remember seeing a lot of that too. And
it goes back to something I've said so many times on this show. We lack so much common sense empathy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That it isn't. I'm sure I will have friends on Facebook that think they're absolutely hilarious, and they will post that Sinatra group video and think it's absolutely hilarious. And they'll have people that think it's funny, and it's like, no, there's a time and a place for that.
Yeah.
This isn't it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Although everything has its limits. Like if I wake up one day and see that Vladimir Putin has met his end, I'll have a good hearty laugh.
But yeah, there are some people that me personally, I'd just be like, you know what? Have at it.
Yeah.
Like when Charles Manson died, you know what? The man didn't respect the living, so why should we respect him now that he's dead?
Right.
And really, even if you watch the interviews with him that he gave in prison, didn't care.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, that guy was severely mentally ill, I think, and there was just no saving him.
I mean, even like someone like Ted Bundy, if you listen to the interview series on Netflix, you're just like, there are some people, you're right, that does not apply to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, you know what? Go.
Although, I mean, to be fair, I don't want to be a hypocrite though. So even in the case of Vladimir Putin, I'm sure Tucker Carlson would be very sad. You know what I mean? So maybe I shouldn't, maybe there shouldn't be any exceptions to that, you know?
I care more about the dump my dog took this morning than Tucker Carlson's feelings. You're not helping the argument, Matt.
That was very, very specific and descriptive, and fair enough.
Yeah, I care nothing about. Look, the minute you go conspiracy theorist on what happened January 6th,
yeah,
my tolerance for your feelings and your emotions is over, because you're for trampling on everything that this country holds dear.
Well, also in the case of Tucker Carlson, I do have to assume that he has no actual feelings of emotions of his own. So therefore, what's it matter?
You remember those Teddy Ruxpin dolls in the 80s?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You could program how they feel.
Yeah,
that's Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
They just program him on how he should feel on a given day.
Yes.
Like, Tucker, you should be sad tonight. Someone died. Okay.
Well,
rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor. The world lost a great one. Anyway, on to me saying things they told me to say about the Republican Party.
Yeah, I don't think Tucker Carlson probably cares much about Sinead O'Connor, but yeah, we should put a button on that. Yes, rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor, and at the age of 56, and yeah, that's too bad. And I hope it wasn't what we think it was, but I'm sure we'll find out in the coming days. So there you go. But I did play Billy, our friend, our mutual friend, of course, and colleague Billy Painter asked me to play "Nothing Compares to You," which that must have been the album version I played, because it was like, I found it in the computer. It was like 5 minutes long. I was like, I don't remember the song being that long, but it must have been the album version.
Yeah, I do know in the 90s they did do a lot of radio edits. U2 is notorious for having album cuts and radio edits.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, in radio, I mean, you really shouldn't. Well, you know this from you worked in college radio, and
my college radio station didn't care about the length of the song, but I know where you're going with it.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, 3.5 minutes to 3 minutes 45 seconds is really the sweet spot.
We would play 12-minute tracks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I play long songs here sometimes. When I open the show, I'll play a long song. If I'm trying to get, if I'm like rushing to set up and whatnot, just to kill a little time. But we'll move on. But I do want to say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat before we do move on to another subject. But Erich, I do see that you're in there. Welcome. Yeah. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry joins us in the chat. Queen City Cabinetry, one of our great sponsors here at WMNH. And, of course, one of our co-hosts Friday nights on Retro Spectrum Radio with Pauly C. J-Fed from the great state of Vermont joins us in the chat room. Jenny joins us and says, sorry I'm late. Shalom, peeps. Oh, Andy Barker from the Nothing's Off the Table podcast, a show that I've appeared on. That was a few years ago now. He says, hey, y'all, been a while. How is everyone? Hello, Andy. Nice to see you. Rhonda Favero from California joins us and says, hi, guys. Eric Street says, I didn't know Chad Boseman was sick, because we were talking earlier about people who died suddenly and we didn't know they were sick. Eric, I'm blanking on either one of you, Eric Street or you, sir, Eric Pilcher. I'm blanking on who that is.
I don't know.
The name is super familiar. I should know who it is, but for some reason I can't.
Last name.
What's that?
Bozeman is a common last name.
Yeah. I don't know. Chad Bozeman, though. That sounds like a name. Like, I feel like I do know who it is, but it's just not, it's not top of mind, as we say. Hello to Isaac Banks in the Facebook live chat, of course, from...
about Chadwick Boseman, the guy who played Black Panther.
Oh, Chadwick Boseman. Yes. Okay. Yes, Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, that was a surprise. He was young, right?
Yeah, but I do recall I saw him on a red carpet or something, and I'm like, he doesn't look good.
Yeah, he had cancer, right? Yeah. Joe Friday is in the chat room. Hello, Joe Friday. Isaac Banks from Greensboro, North Carolina says, yo, hashtag Mike Banks. Good afternoon, bro. Hey, man, you forgot something to put back into grandma's bathroom. Was the white pan to heal your feet this morning, man, in the bathroom? I'll tell you what, I don't know if you've noticed this, Eric, but Isaac Banks and his brother, hashtag Mike Banks, they've always got some sort of beef going on in our chat room.
I mean, maybe you should have him on the show and air it out.
I feel like I could. Well, it's a family matter, so it could be like an old school Jerry Springer thing. But
hey, I will Skype in for that.
Yes. Well, they've always got some kind of problem, and the grandmother is always involved somehow. I guess these issues happen at grandma's house, and you hate to see families fight like that. Isaac Banks also says, hashtag Matt, awesome t-shirt, be a hero. Yes.
Matt, the only reason I offer to host is because if it does devolve into a Jerry Springer-like thing, that's beneath you. That's more my cup of tea there. So I would gladly take over that one.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I'd appreciate that.
I would let you go besmirch your good name.
Thank you. Well, we do try to maintain some degree of good taste. Rick Smith is in the chat room. Hello, Rick. He says, do you guys believe in heaven and hell? I would just say that's probably of the Black Sabbath albums featuring Ronnie James Dio. Heaven and Hell, I would say, is my favorite and a great song. What say you, Eric?
I commented, yes, I do, but I love the switch you did there. Yes, that is a great album. And
that is a great album.
Dio is the best lead singer of Black Sabbath.
Yes, I agree. Well, you know what? I'll go even further. This is heresy for Sabbath fans, but I'm going to say it. I think I've said this on the show before. Of all the singers of Black Sabbath, because they went through a bunch of them. In fact, there's a great book. I can never remember the name of the author, a music journalist who wrote this book called, what's that?
Is it Mick Wall?
I'm not sure. Do you know the book I'm talking about? It's,
No, Mick Wall has written many great rock biographies.
Okay. Because there's now I'm trying to remember the name of the book. Now I'm blanking on the name of the book, but it covers the entire history of Black Sabbath from when Ozzy leaves to when Ozzy returns. It goes through all the lineup changes that happened in that post-Ozzy period, and it's fascinating. But there's but anyway, the thing that I was going to say, which is considered generally heresy among Sabbath fans and among metal fans generally, is that Ozzy is probably, of all the singers they had, my least favorite lead singer of Black Sabbath.
I think, like, we run into this in music quite a bit, Matt, and you can disagree with me if you want. And if Pauly sees in the chat, I would love to hear his opinion, because he knows way more about music than I could even hope to know. But I find in music, we automatically assume most popular indicates best. Right. Like Metallica's Black Album is Metallica's best album. And it's not. Same with Motley Crue. Motley Crue's album Girls, Girls, Girls is their best album. I disagree.
Right.
I feel it's Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I will acknowledge, though, when it comes to the song War Pigs and the way Ozzy snarls those lyrics, it is hard to imagine somebody else doing that
Right.
quite the way he does. So it's nothing against Ozzy. Nothing against him. But Dio is so much better.
Those hits like Paranoid
Yeah.
and Iron Man, the album Paranoid, which really kind of catapulted them. Ozzy's the lead singer. Ozzy had a successful solo career. So by God, Black Sabbath has to be the best with Ozzy. And it's like, no. That's like, I know Motley Crue fans that say, oh, Motley Crue was awful with John Corabi. Really?
Oh, that album is great.
That album was amazing.
Yeah.
If they would have called themselves anything but Motley Crue, Vince Neil would have never been brought back.
Misunderstood is one of my favorite Motley Crue songs of all time. Such a great song.
Hooligans Holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole album is really good. But yeah, I mean, what you're talking about is something I deal with, as a Kiss fan, because obviously they were the most commercially successful with the original lineup, with the makeup and everything. But my favorite period of the band is the non-makeup era.
Yeah, I wasn't into music when that went down, but I remember watching the VH1 documentary when Kiss ruled the world. And they went into detail about that, and I can only imagine, like, the Scanner-esque heads exploding when they did that interview without the makeup.
Yeah, with JJ Jackson on MTV. Yeah, their first appearance without makeup. Yeah. That was before I was really a big fan. They were already a few years into the non-makeup era when I became a fan. But then once I became a fan, it's like, I love all eras of the band. But
right, it's the same with me and my two favorite bands of all time, or music groups, Wu-Tang and Metallica.
Yeah.
Like, there are Wu-Tang fans that hate Iron Flag, and I think it's a great album.
Oh, by the way, we might have a resolution in the Banks household. Isaac Banks in the chat room says, #Matt, my brother Mike Banks will apologize to Grandma Eloise Keck. Well, good.
That's no fun.
No, I feel better about that. I don't like there being trouble at the Bankses.
No.
Stresses me out.
I was actually looking forward to hosting a radio throwdown.
Yeah, but they'll get into another fight, I'm sure. They always do.
Draw this one out, Isaac.
What if Grandma Eloise Keck doesn't accept the apology from Mike Banks?
Oh boy, it's on now.
Yes. Well, let me Isaac Banks says definitely, because that is a conviction. Oh, I don't think anyone needs to go to prison over this. Isaac Banks. Let me give the number 603-250-6007 if you'd like to join us. 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connarton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. We're running late, but that's actually okay. I don't have a musical guest coming up, so if you have a little extra time, Eric, we can go a little long. Because we didn't get to yet, and we should do this. Now, this came up on the show yesterday. I was late to the party on this Garth Brooks thing. Because apparently this has been going on for a while, but there's a whole new wave of this. I forget who brought it up in the Facebook live chat, but just to refresh anyone's memory who might not know, or if you missed yesterday's show, because I've done a little bit of research, and Eric knows something of what I'm referring to here, but this is from PennLive.com. This is just a very terse article that explains what's going on here. So it says here, Garth Brooks keeps getting accused of being a serial killer on social media. Here's why. Just when you thought social media couldn't get any dumber, Twitter is now X, and people won't stop claiming that Garth Brooks is a serial killer over on the dumpster fire that is Elon Musk's platform. Yep, you read that right. The country music superstar is being called a serial killer over there. It's relentless and is clearly not based on anything that is factual. Brooks has found himself in the middle of controversy lately for daring to suggest that he might serve Bud Light in his new Nashville bar and having the gall to ask his fans to support refugees in Ukraine. But this is clearly more serious, and it apparently predates all of that. So how did we get here with Brooks's mentions being flooded by the unfounded claims? Well, according to multiple sources, it all began with comedian Tom Segura and Brooks's 2018 concert tour announcement. At the end of the video, Brooks said, quote, "Let's get physical playing music," unquote, with a smile. Segura then reportedly joked that Brooks looked like he has killed multiple people before. Hit his grown legs and taken off from there with a conspiracy that his tour dates coincide with multiple missing people reports even being added to the story. That has led fans of Segura to show up in Brooks's posts to ask, "Where are the bodies, Garth?" Many people, it seems, are in on the joke. But there are other people who genuinely and unbelievably seem to believe there are facts behind this. And you will easily find people on Musk's platform claiming Brooks is a serial killer. Now, I was skeptical of all of this at first, Eric, and I thought it was kind of funny, but I want to play something, and you may have already heard this, Eric, because I did send you a link, but just for the audience.
Watch it, yes.
Yes. It's sort of a mini documentary. It's called Garth Brooks, the Country King Murderer. Now, I'm just going to play the opening couple of minutes of this to give you an idea, but then I'm going to now, I know, my audience knows me to be very skeptical of conspiracy theories and so forth, but I think there's something here.
I'm going to add to the conspiracy theory, too.
Oh, good. Okay, because I know you were skeptical as well, but let's just, go ahead.
Go ahead and play it, because I have something to add to it, and I believe that there could be dark magic present with Mr. Brooks.
Oh my. Well, we were talking about Black Sabbath earlier. All right, so this is Garth Brooks, the Country King Murderer. This is the first just couple of minutes of this mini documentary that is on YouTube.
Garth Brooks, originally named Troy Garth Brooks, is a country music performer known the world over. He's been in the public's eye ever since he released his debut single Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old back in 1989. His songwriting prowess has won him awards, and he's set many records with his own brand of country music, which makes it easy for listeners to breathe in and out. But what we don't know about this country boy from Oklahoma is not only shocking, but downright revolting and disturbing. He's a murderer. A stone-cold murderer. Garth Brooks has gone about his career performing for a number of years for his adoring crowds all around the world. But it wasn't until he started to use social media that suspicions were aroused.
I really wasn't sure about this at the start, but then a friend of mine said something that just made all kinds of sense. She said, think of it more as a conversation. I like that. But I'm already finding out on my own, so it's wiping the walls out between you and me, and I really like that. It allows us into each other's worlds, or I guess in my case, the hotel room. When I think about things I want to post cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff. But most of the stuff I'm going to post is going to be raw stuff like this. This is just who I am. So if this is truly a conversation, then I say let the conversation begin.
And a conversation did begin amongst people who had noticed that he was gracing the front pages of many tabloids, which subsequently led to an emotional breakdown. This collapse was even exhibited through strange behavior during interviews.
I see those faces. I see those faces at every live show.
Some even observed signs of violence that he would brush off as accidents.
But I hear so on your farm, I saw you have a bruised finger. Didn't you hurt yourself?
Oh yeah, just about a month ago, this thing happened. The stupid thing is my fault. I was tired.
If those at home didn't take notice of this, people abroad surely did.
All right, so again, I'm not going to play the. Whoops, there we go. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but that gives you an idea, and quite chilling actually. The evidence is has me shook, as I believe the young people say, Eric.
Yeah. Here's what I'm going to add to this.
Mm-hmm.
Garth Brooks performed a live concert at Notre Dame Stadium May 7th of 2022. Since then, the Notre Dame football team lost to 2 sub 500 teams at home for the first time in 12 years.
Legitimate losses or murder?
It was the murder of a football program. And one of those losses was to the Marshall Thundering Herd, which, if anyone knows anything about college football, that school is famous for losing their entire team in a plane crash in the 70s.
In the 70s. When was Garth born?
Or 60s. But since then, bad luck has befallen Notre Dame. For the first time in 6 years, they finished with below 10 wins in football.
Wow. Well, that's, I mean, you know, this is circumstantial evidence and deeply confusing to me because, of course, the moment you begin talking about sports, my brain suddenly turns to mush. But I will trust you that this is a significant piece of evidence, Erich.
Yes. So when I first saw this, Matt, I was like, Matt, I expected better of you, but I'll roll with this. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. That dark magic heathen came to Notre Dame. And did something horrible to hurt the Notre Dame football team.
Yes. Well.
So, and there will be people that discredit you and I for saying this.
Yes.
By saying that, well, Notre Dame in that same stadium beat the number 4 ranked Clemson Tigers. Manhandled them.
Right.
Say to you, irrelevant, because they still lost to Marshall in a Stanford team that only won 3 games. And no, that does not happen.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming I defer to you. I'm extremely confused. But right. Dark matter, indeed.
So, yes, I do believe that quite possibly Garth Brooks could have some skeletons in the closet, both literally and figuratively.
Yes. Well, now Joe Friday posted this in the chat room, and I don't know if this is because Joe Friday has information or Joe Friday is just speculating. I'm going to assume speculating, but Joe Friday says his wife Trisha grinds up bodies and makes meat pies on Food Network. I hope that's not true. And Isaac Banks says...
Wait. Joe Friday might be onto something. Remember everyone asking, where's the bodies, Garth?
Right. The bodies may have been eaten.
Making them into meat pot pies.
Right.
This is like the Sweeney Todd. We're uncovering a great crime happening, Matt, on your show.
Clearly, yes. Melanie La Liberty from the great state of Vermont says, hey, dark magic heathens are people too. That is true.
Have a good nature to show up for your show on time, Matt.
And
she brought up a very sore subject as a means to get back at me.
Oh, the shirt. Yes.
Yeah. So Melanie, I'm sorry. The pain you have caused me today, I just think maybe... Whoa!
Yes, I see in the chat room, she said, if Erich Pilcher was a serial killer, it makes sense he would deflect attention to another person. Well, I mean, I don't think she's accusing you of anything. I think she's just...
If that were the case, would you really want to anger me?
She's just spitballing. She doesn't know your... you don't know Melanie's address, do you?
I do not.
Okay, just checking. Yeah. Now, I have a piece of evidence of my own. And now, again, I read that article on the show yesterday, and I was pretty skeptical, and it seems silly. And, it's one of the, again, I was late to the party on this. This has been going on since 2018, but it keeps bubbling back up. So, as it has recently. And so, I had a good laugh about it yesterday and whatnot, and it's just kind of silly and fun, I thought. But then today, I had an intuition about something. It just all of a sudden I started thinking about the song Friends in Low Places. Now, I've rarely in my life, I've always been aware of the song because it was a massive hit. You couldn't get away from it. But I've rarely in my life actually paid much attention to it because I'm not a big country music fan. I do like Garth Brooks or at least I did. Now I'm afraid of him, but I did like Garth Brooks for one thing musically, though, that he did and coincidentally, I just recently shared it out on Facebook again because I had run across it in my YouTube feed, the time that he performed on The Tonight Show with Kiss, and they performed Hard Luck Woman together on The Tonight Show because Hard Luck Woman is a Kiss song, but Garth did a cover of it. And it's really good. And it's on YouTube if you want to see it. But anyway, the song Friends in Low Places popped into my mind today. And I started thinking about some of the lyrics. And I said, I need to look up these lyrics and analyze them. And Eric, and I said this to you on Messenger, and I'll say this to everyone here. If you examine the lyrics to Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks, I feel that this song is a confession. I feel that this song is it's like the equivalent of when O.J. Simpson wrote that book, If I Did It. Even though this came before, I feel it's like that. Now let me explain. If you're skeptical, let's look at these lyrics to this song, and then you can all judge for yourselves. Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots, and
what does a killer in a film wear, Matt?
They wear boots. They wear boots. That's right. Yeah. Blame it all on my roots. In other words, it's not my fault. It's not my fault, the horrible things that I do.
Deflection. Deflection.
Yes. Deflection and boots. Mm-hmm. And ruined your black tie affair. Oh, really? How did you do that, Garth? The last one to know, the last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there. Now, I have to tell you, that sounds, you might be listening to the song and you're singing along. People like to sing along to this and they think it's all whimsical and fun. I think it sounds very menacing so far. And I saw the surprise and the fear in his eyes. Come on. I mean, that line alone. Oh, yeah, I bet there was a lot of surprise and fear in his eyes. When I took his glass of champagne and I toasted, you said, honey, we may be through, but you'll never hear me complain. And then it goes to the chorus, because I've got friends in low places. Oh, really? What are these low places, Garth? 6 feet under?
Or hitmen. Hitmen are pretty low friends.
No, I think Garth does all of his own killing. That's my theory. I mean, he seems like he'd be pretty enthusiastic about handling that himself. Where the whiskey drowns. Why does he mention drowning? And the beer chases my blues away, and I'll be okay. Yeah, I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the Oasis. Oh, I've got friends in low places.
The Oasis sounds like one of those seedy bars you would go to find a hitman. Or just find someone to dispose of a body.
Here's what I think. I think the basement of the Oasis. Well, let me put it this way. Let's say you were to go to this place. Let's assuming the Oasis is a real place, it's an actual bar, right?
Yes.
You go there and you would bring. Now, of course, my father would not approve of this theologically, but let's say I was to go there to investigate, and I brought with me a medium who could speak to the dead, and I cannot help but wonder if we were to do that, if the medium would begin to communicate with perhaps some of Garth's victims who might then present themselves in some way and say, ooh, it was Garth. You know what I mean? I mean, it could happen.
You know, Isaac Banks brings this up, Matt.
Yes.
Did you know Garth Brooks was Chris Gaines? I feel that Chris Gaines was actually a real performer, that Garth Brooks got rid of and took over his identity.
That would make sense.
Because Garth's career was quite stagnant when he did the Chris Gaines thing.
Mm-hmm.
What better way than to find an uber-talented young man, get rid of him, and steal his clout?
That does make sense. We've certainly never seen the two of them together at the same time.
That we have not.
Mm-hmm. So then we get to this next verse here. Well, I guess I was wrong. I just don't belong. But then, I've been there before.
You're a killer, Garth.
Mm-hmm. Everything's all right. I'll just say good night, and I'll show myself to the door. Hey, I didn't mean to cause a big scene. Just give me an hour, and then, well, I'll be as high as that ivory tower that you're living in. Yeah, I get it. He feels like, people look down on him for being a serial killer from their ivory tower. Oh, you're so, he's from his point of view, he's going, oh, you're so high and mighty. You don't kill people. Ugh.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Garth Brooks is one of those guys on my concert bucket list that I've never seen live.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to now.
Yes.
I stopped missing.
I don't know. I bet it's a killer show. See what I did there? Joe Friday says, leave Garth alone. He makes more money than we do. Oh, Garth makes more money than most people do. Garth makes a lot of money. Well, that's those are the lyrics to Friends in Low Places. And again, I think that's a confession right there.
You know, I think that's his version of the O.J. Simpson, quote unquote, if I did it.
Right. Now, apparently, by the way, if Garth were innocent, you would think he would respond to all of this, but he doesn't. Apparently, he just ignores it all. And he has comedian Tom Segura, the gentleman with whom this all started, blocked on Instagram. So, he's just not having it. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for Garth Brooks. But who knows? We might see him in prison someday. Then again, he's kind of liberal in his political views, at least for a country artist. Maybe the Republicans in Congress can have some hearings about him. Could do that.
Right. I do think that there needs to be some culpability here. If not for just Garth being punished, but for the victims of his crimes.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, I just saw something on media that surprised me, but, so on a completely different subject, unless you have something to add.
No, I'm with you, Matt.
Yes.
Garth Brooks, he might be Ted Bundy all over again.
I think, yes. I say string him up, hang him high. I actually oppose the death penalty, but I figure because he sings country music and wears a cowboy hat, it's just appropriate to say hang him high.
Yes.
One other thing, Eric, I did want to just talk to you about. I don't know. I just thought you might, of course, you have endorsed former governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, for the Republican nomination. And I just thought this was kind of funny. And I don't know if you had seen this or not, but Mediaite reports this. Chris Christie fires back at Trump, attacking his Obama meeting with reminder that he invited Hillary Clinton to his wedding. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't. But man, Chris Christie going for the jugular.
Well, this one's in self-defense. Here's what happened. So it says here, Republican presidential candidate and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie today rhetorically asked Donald Trump if at his wedding to Melania he danced the night away with Hillary Clinton. Christie's rejoinder came after Trump attacked Christie late on Tuesday night for his relationship with former President Barack Obama. This is what Trump had posted. Christie was so Star Trek with Barack Hussein Obama that Romney, by the way, that's how Trump spelled it, that Romney, who is a terrible politician and horrible representative of the Republican Party, never had a chance of winning the presidency, unquote, argued Trump in a Truth Social post. Quote, Christie sold Romney out, making one of the worst convention speeches in history, virtually not even mentioning Romney by name. Romney sat watching in a trance. He couldn't believe it. And then, oh, wow. This article is written a little bit strangely, but, oh, here we go. So Christie responded, this is regarding Obama. Christie responded on Twitter, yeah, I invited the sitting president to New Jersey during the worst natural disaster in our state's history, but I didn't invite him to my wedding. Donald, did you dance the night away with Hillary? So Trump had posted the picture of Obama and Christie shaking hands and I guess trying to use that against Chris Christie, which is really, that's something that they tried to use against Chris Christie in 2016 and Trump trying to dig that up again. By the way, we have been joined in studio by, fresh from his yesterday's MRI, John Hopwood is here. Hello, sir.
Hello, Matt.
And we have Erich Pilcher on Skype with us.
Why is Erich Pilcher on Skype at this point of the show? I thought he was only in the first hour.
Well, we don't have a musical guest today, so he's staying a little longer.
He is like a parasitic being from a grade Z space movie, I guess.
Oh, my goodness.
Tormenting me like barnacles on a right whale's flippers. Are they called flippers?
I don't know.
They are mammals.
Do you have a response to that, Erich, either to the story from Mediaite or to John Hopwood?
What? John, I'm sorry you feel that way about me.
A carbuncle on an orca's flipper, because you know I am trying to get reincarnated as an orca.
Oh,
although
that's exciting.
Yeah, they're actually attacking humans. Their consciousness is expanding greatly. With global warming.
Oh,
so there are some positive things about global warming.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you agree, Erich Pilcher?
I mean, it's pretty warm in Iowa today, and I hate the heat. So
Erich Pilchard, or whatever your real name is.
I believe it's Pilcher, but his stage name is Erich Pincher.
I thought it was Pilchard, like the fish.
No.
That, kind of that sardine-like fish.
When he plays guitar, he uses the thumb method, and he goes by the name Erich Pincher.
Now he's pretending he's a guitarist?
He is a guitarist. Haven't you heard I'm the Man?
Oh.
I have a killer solo, John.
Yes.
Oh,
should we ask, speaking of killers, so should we ask John about that? John, do you believe Garth Brooks is a serial killer?
Where did that come from? Is he going to get a Fox News show?
I don't think they'd want him on Fox. Garth is kind of liberal. Even
he is?
Yeah, actually he is, yes. He's one of the few country stars who's openly liberal. What's that, Erich?
He's very liberal.
Yes.
What does very liberal mean?
Well, he's always been very sort of pro LGBTQ plus. He's
LGBTQI plus. Please.
Well, you don't need the I because you say plus. Hell,
no,
actually,
it's I and then the plus.
Because
I's for intersex.
Because of the plus, you really don't need. You could just say LGBT plus. The plus is all inclusive. Hell, you could say L plus.
That would be. I just heard the new term for using the name of a trans person, their old name.
Dead naming.
Dead naming, right?
Yes.
I just learned that, so I couldn't really keep a hold of it. But eventually it'll get through my thick skull.
Yes.
Like Erich Pilcher type of parasite boring into my ear and into my brain.
Why are you being so aggressive with our friend Erich Pilcher?
Because he abandoned me and the show.
He did?
Oh,
Is
yes,
that true?
He did.
Is that true?
Well, how can I haven't been asked.
What's that? You haven't been.
I've not been asked to return to the show.
Aha!
How can you return to a show when you've abandoned ship?
I have never. If I abandoned ship, I would declare I have abandoned the ship.
You have abandoned the ship.
You would say, wait, you would declare that
you've decided to leave a great group, a great show that was like what the Beatles are, to public TV, to become the Linda McCartney of this wing. Wings was a very successful act, so I'm not putting down the Matt Connarton show.
Thank you, and a very successful sitcom as well.
Yes.
Well, I'm talking about it was Paul McCartney and Wings, then it became Wing.
Right. Well,
right.
Some people want to fill the world with silly love songs, and what's wrong with
At
that?
least
I'd like to know.
Paul McCartney had the good sense of, dead ending Linda's mic during a concert. We could just have like virtual Erich here, and
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel abandoned by our friend Erich Pilcher.
How is it that I didn't know walking in here the name Chris Christie that this carbuncle on the Orca's fin would be around?
Oh boy!
Do you know that the fabulous Moolah would have been 100 yesterday?
I didn't know that.
That's why I called in yesterday, but I forgot why I was calling in.
I see.
Oh, yeah.
I did get a lot of positive feedback on your reaction last week to Erich's endorsement of Chris Christie. People thought that was pretty funny.
Funny? In what way was it funny?
You were fun, dude. I was laughing the whole time. You called him toilet film. That's hilarious.
Did I call Erich toilet film?
No,
I think that was
you called Chris Christie toilet film.
Right. Erich is I'm thinking, what is a carbuncle?
I don't even know.
Is a carbuncle something on a human being or is it on a whale? What are those things that encrust the whale's flippers?
Dude, I don't even eat seafood.
What is all this dude suddenly? You have Iowa coming, and suddenly you're channeling.
Come on, guy. Come on.
Did you go see Barbie?
Come on, man.
No. I'm getting the surfer stuff.
I was thinking bro, by the way.
I prefer bra.
Bra?
Until I got heavy, and now I prefer not to use that.
Yeah,
my pectoral muscles are shouting out bra, so now I say bro.
Understood. Oh, boy. Well,
Chris Christie needs a bra. Or a man's ear.
Oh, boy. Does that now he's fat shaming your candidate now, Erich. I'm so sorry you have to hear that.
Didn't he get the surgery? Like, what do they call it? Barbaric surgery?
He got the lap band a number of years ago, but it didn't hold. If that's, I don't know if that's the right term to use. It didn't hold. I don't know.
He kind of reminds me of like the dancing hippopotami, from Disney's Fantasia.
We have a call. Let's grab this. We'll see.
Not you, Erich. Chris Christie.
See who's on the line here. Maybe it's Governor Christie. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's Ridley.
Hello, Matt. It's Pauly C. Retrospective Radio.
Pauly C. from Retrospective Radio. How are you?
Doing all right. John, how are you, buddy?
I'm hanging in there.
Do you believe, Paul, Garth Brooks is a serial killer?
Could be.
He is?
No, I'm asking you. Do you believe? I mean, I think that the lyrics to "Friends in Low Places" is clearly a confession.
I never really given it any much thought, but okay.
Oh, think about it. You'll be shocked when you have the revelation and the realization and the.
I got to be honest with you. I don't care either way.
Right. Well, you don't care until he comes at you.
I've never heard of
until he comes to one of my loved ones, right?
Right. Then you're going to care. Oh, yeah. You're going to care a lot then.
So I always think of Miley.
John, would you mind a great deal if I interrupted your conversation so I could promote our show on Friday night?
Not at all, Pauly C. Not at all.
But if you upset John, he might call you names afterward, as we've
I doubt that.
as we've learned with our friend Erich Pilcher.
Pauly's never been traitorous.
He's never abandoned you. I understand. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Johnny and I are tight. John's not going to badmouth me or call me names.
No.
Well, that's what.
I thought John and I were tight, and he badmouthed me.
Yeah, exactly. Look what happened to Erich.
I assure you, John. Am I not right?
You're absolutely right, and my lips are buttoned up because you have something to deliver.
Oh, very good. All right. Well, go ahead, Paul. I'm very excited for Friday night's show.
Yes, I'm actually thinking about having John in. That way, between John and Aaron, who also just talks and talks, I won't have to say a word. They can go back and forth and talk about movies all night.
There you go.
Well, there you go. All right.
Yeah, John, John, I don't know if John knows this dude. He's more towards music as a director and a producer, but we're having Aaron Sadovsky on our show Friday night. Does that name ring a bell to you at all?
No.
He's worked on a couple of movies. He's mostly a director for music stuff and pay-per-view events and so forth and on, but he also produced TV shows or, co-produced TV shows and a few movies.
Erich might be familiar with him. Do you know him, Erich? Erich Zadovsky?
The name is familiar, and not just from Paul's posts about him on his homepage and the Retro Spectrum radio page. The name is familiar.
Yeah. He's going to be here with us live Friday night. It's going to be very cool.
That's right. That is cool. Yes, it's going to be great. He's worked on TV shows such as Law and Order.
Wow.
The Cosby Mysteries. Black Rain, Ghost, 29th Street, Frankie and Johnny, Home Alone 2, The Cowboy Way. So a bunch of great movies Aaron's worked on.
Cowboy Way. Yeah, with the cow.
And Last Action Hero.
Scene.
Hey, if he worked on Last Action Hero, he's aces in my book.
There you go.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie, but I heard, you either love it or it's a joke. So it's one or the other with that movie.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it, but... Well, very good, very good. So he's going to be with us for the entire 3 hours?
Yeah, he'll be with us the entire 3 hours. He's going to be discussing the relationships that he had with various musicians, including all the ones that I posted. He just sent me a dozen more photos today for promotion on all the musicians that we'll be talking about and his experiences with working with on Friday night. He's also co-producer of Woodstock 94 and Woodstock 99. He worked directly with, what's-his-face, the guy who founded Woodstock in 69. I can't remember his name.
His name
We've talked about him before.
Yeah, I know. His name escapes me, too.
It's right out there.
It's just a regular everyday name, too, this guy. Can't remember it, though.
I could just sit and listen to him talk about Woodstock 99.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, so in the archive, there is an episode where Aaron does call in and talks to us for a bit about that very subject, and it's pretty interesting.
Yes, he called in right when that Woodstock, one of the things he produced on Netflix is still available now. I just watched it again the other night to brush up on it.
Yeah,
it's called Trainwreck Woodstock 99, and Aaron is featured in this both in clips from when he was, helping to arrange it back in the 90s, as well as being featured in this documentary and being interviewed about, all the shenanigans that happened back then.
Yes. Well, very good. Well, we look forward to that, Paul. I look forward to meeting Aaron.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I haven't been in the same room with that dude since 1988.
Whoa.
That's going to be surreal, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Guy's out of control. He's a deadhead, too. So
Is he? Yeah. Well, very good.
All right, cool. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you Friday at 8 p.m., Matt.
All right, Paul. We'll see you then. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, wonderful. The great Pauly C from Retro Spectrum Radio with Pauly C. Well, speaking of Friday, Erich, we'll let you go in a moment, but do you want to plug the film review for this Friday before you go?
Yes, I have to add an addendum to this. Tentatively, it is True Romance. Having a bit of an issue finding clips that are usable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the clips I have found are low-grade VHS quality. And when I remove the audio track, they're borderline unusable.
Okay.
So So I'll message you. There will be a review, but tentatively it's True Romance.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right, Eric. Well, yes, we will let you go. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Yes, I would like to add, John, if you find it in your heart to ask me to be a guest on your amazing show again.
How can you be? You're his guest. You're the Linda.
Matt Connarton is a very courageous and understanding man.
Oh, has he been helping you with any type of transitioning?
What? No, but we've.
I'm just talking about from film critic to possibly cultural critic.
No, we've
talking about Chris Christie.
We've shared custody before on a Wednesday, where he joins you and then joins me. We've done that before.
Yes, I feel something can be worked out because I do enjoy being on both of your programs.
Yes. Well, I'll let you guys figure that out. But
he's dead to me.
Oh my goodness!
He can come to Manchester. We can do a razor match. I'll have to have the rods put in my spine, which will give me an added advantage. Slam him.
It escalated quickly.
It sure did. All right, Eric. Thank you so much, my friend, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me, John. Pleasure as always.
Grunt.
All right, bye, Eric.
Bye.
All right, that was Erich Pilcher, my favorite conservative. We're going to take a very quick break and show some love to our amazing sponsors, and then we'll be right back. John, I assume you're sticking around?
Yes, but I just meant that he transitioned from a movie critic into this cultural and political critic. And I just won't stand for it.
I understand. Well, it's a good thing you're sitting.
Yeah.
You don't have to stand.
There you go.
All right, we're going to take a very quick break, just run the commercial spots, and then we'll be back with the balance of our show. Don't go anywhere.
The balance.
There is more to come. The balance, yes. Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria. For delivery, call 603-782-8450. Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town. 1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Best cocktails around. Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
And when you hear that music, That can only mean that John Hopwood is here with us live on Matt Connarton Unleashed. He is at the news desk.
Mr. Sunshine himself.
That's right. And you can join us. The studio line is open, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connarton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. By the way, John, there is a question for you in the chat room. Pauly C says, ask John if he still hates Peter Bogdanovich.
He's dead now.
You mean he's dead to you, or he's dead?
He's dead.
Oh.
But it's funny because just yesterday I was making myself dinner and I thought about Peter Bogdanovich and
how
what
much
a loathsome person he was when I met him.
Yeah, I don't think. Now, did you ever explain why you found him so loathsome?
I was at the Stanford Theater in Palo Alto, California, when I lived in Palo Alto. One of the greatest revival houses ever. It was at the time in the 90s when they started releasing what we'd call pre-code films. There was UCLA, Library of Congress, and David Packard, whose father was Hewlett Packard. He was getting old, and David Packard was a PhD from Yale in English literature who loved film. And he was brought back to be on the board. So they gave him this old movie theater, and he absolutely refurbished it. And it had all different projectors, like projectors from the 40s, because you needed that to project properly a print. Just so you would need certain lenses or machines for like a 70-millimeter print. So it was the first time I saw the films. Video was out, of course, and it revolutionized viewing movies. So you used to watch old movies on TV, and they'd always be cut up by commercials, and they'd be on these tiny screens.
Yeah.
But seeing them on a big screen with these beautiful prints, because David Packard had created a Packard Foundation. They gave his two sisters, the guy who owned Hewlett Packard, the big guy, gave the daughters enough money where they created the Monterey Aquarium, and David Packard created a foundation to preserve these films. And you'd be like amongst the first people to see these movies that then would go on, and then DVD was coming in a big way for movies. But
yeah, so
it was fabulous. So I'm there, and we're seeing Orson Welles films. And oh my God, Peter Bogdanovich, Orson this, Orson that. You know, he's so obnoxious of a snob. And I asked him a question about Pauline Kael, who was one of the great film critics. I actually dated her great niece when I was in the Army, which was a big thrill, because I'd been reading Pauline Kael since I was in Manchester in the 1970s.
Yeah.
And she helped form my consciousness. And she wrote a book called The Citizen Kane book, where she said that the primary author of Citizen Kane isn't Wells. It's actually Herman Mankiewicz, who wrote the screenplay. And now Herman Mankiewicz is well known. Gary Oldman got an Oscar nomination playing him in a movie like a couple of years ago and stuff. But he was only known amongst what you'd call cineasts back then.
Oh.
So ask a question. You know, you're thinking, well, Orson Welles is a great guy. He got an Oscar for writing the screenplay, and whether Pauline Kael is right or wrong, it's like, I asked a question, you know, was he really bothered by the Pauline Kael article? Oh, and then, Peter Bogdanovich had studied acting with Marlon Brando's acting teacher, Stella Adler. And, you know, he became an actor again towards the end of his career because he just blew out as a film director. And he was the psychiatrist for Tony Soprano's psychiatrist on The Sopranos.
Yes.
And he's like strutting. And, you know, here it is. It's like the early 90s, I guess. But he's still got like an ascot, you know, like he's in the 20s and everything.
Yeah.
Of course he was offended. And I can't imagine this great director being offended, you know, by a film critic.
Right.
If it's false or whatever, because a lot of people took a dump on Pauline Kael for it. It was a famous article in New Yorker, which he wrote for, and it became the Citizen Kane book. It was one of the things that put film criticism on the map. And the way he strutted and the way he was so condescending. Christ Jesus, if I had the PTSD had been manifest, then I'd have jumped up on the stage and hit him with a wet noodle.
Oh
yeah. You're not supposed to do that unless the person that was a Presbyterian, by the way. Something that the Trump knows very well. That's why he shies away from noodle shops.
So you can hit a Presbyterian with a wet noodle.
It is the preferred means of discipline.
I see.
Of Presbyterians.
But
he's not a Presbyterian.
When you say noodle, is it like actual pasta?
Oh, yeah, a wet noodle.
Wow.
Well, noodles come in all. Have you ever, like, I used to go up to San Francisco. A place you don't want to eat at, though, because, Chinatown is either skewed towards actual Chinese cuisine, which is not something for Westerners, or it's for tourists. So I've been to better Chinatowns and better Chinese restaurants in Chinatown.
Well, they
have huge noodles.
They have a lot of rice-a-roni there, don't they?
Rice-a-roni is the San Francisco treat.
Yes.
I have a funny story about rice-a-roni, but I'm not going to tell it.
Why not?
Oh, it's one of those, Richard Gere-like stories.
No.
Yeah. Ones that are so passe, and they're no longer, if we can even use the term politically correct, they wouldn't even give you a few yucks.
Right, I understand. Yeah. Yes.
It was the San Francisco treat.
Yes.
Rice-a-roni.
Yeah. So you finally told the Peter Bogdanovich story.
Yeah, he was really disgustingly obnoxious. So I wrote a really nasty biography of him in the IMDb. And him, with his huge ego and narcissism, he later wrote his own one. So there's two you can see. There's one by me and one by him.
Oh, wow.
Because he really had a spectacular burnout. He was very high on the hog, The Last Picture Show is a great movie.
I've never seen it.
It's a great movie and very worth seeing. Then he made some delightful movies, which were at homage, which is a nice way of saying rip-off, of famous movies from the 30s, like Howard Hawks is Bringing Up Baby, but he'd have like Barbra Streisand in it, and Ryan O'Neal in their height of their careers. And but then they became obsessed with Sybil Shepherd in 1974. He cast this non-actress who's very good looking in in Daisy Miller by it's not Henry Adams. Henry Adams was a historian. Who's the famous American novelist that lived in Britain? Henry James, excuse me. Henry, and it's just like, holy Christ, it was one of the great flops. Then he made a musical called At Long Last Love with Burt Reynolds, Sybil Shepherd, neither one could sing.
Right.
And with Cole Porter songs. I don't know if you know Cole Porter songs, but if you've heard one Cole Porter song, you've heard every one.
So
the lyric scheme, it's the same, and it just drives you crazy.
This was a musical with
yes,
with
Sybil Shepherd, Burt Reynolds, 1975. He shot it direct to sound without dubbing it. And he cast an Italian lawyer who he met as the co-lead. And it was a spectacular flop. In the Paramount created something called the Directors Company to give Francis Ford Coppola, that's made Godfather, Godfather 2 in The Conversation, William Friedkin, who won the Oscar for French Connection, and then The Exorcist, which is a hit almost as big as The Godfather.
Yeah.
And Peter Bogdanovich made all these successful movies. So Paramount created the Directors Company, committed so much capital, and you could make your own type of movie. And, here's Peter Bogdanovich making a, Henry James novel. The only Henry James novel anybody would ever pay to see is The Turn of the Screw, which is made a few times.
Yeah.
And, of course, Ivory Merchant used to make these boring adaptations of Henry James. I mean, he's a bore as a writer. I don't like those masterpiece theater type of movies.
We have a call. Our friend Shannon is on the line. Hi, Shannon.
And he went in the toilet.
Oh.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Are you here to talk about Henry James?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Well, it took me a minute to get to the phone, and John just
he's raving about Peter Bogdanovich.
Huh?
I'm raving about both Peter Bogdanovich and Henry James.
Yes.
The Anglo-American novelist of the 19th century.
You're two-fisting.
But that's the oldest book I ever read was The Turn of the Screw.
Yeah, everybody can write a great one, He was, yeah.
But you know where I got the idea? Or got the title of the book? I believe it was in Rain Man.
Oh, they talked about Henry James and The Turn of the Screw? They made Marlon Brando was in a terrible version called The Nightcomers, which was based on Quint and the governess who were dead by the turn of the screw. Oh. And Marlon Brando's running around with this English actress who's later on Dynasty or something, not Joan Collins, without a stitch on, and it was like, holy smoke!
Oh my!
This is before A Less Tango in Paris.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah.
What's on your mind, Shannon?
And another thing, I was just, I had read that, and I think when you were telling me you were working on coming back to an Orca there, John, it made me think of In the Heart of the Sea. Did you read that book?
No, but I did see the movie Orca with Richard Harris and Bo Derek. That was a real stinker.
Oh.
Okay, well, I didn't see the movie, but the way you said the whales, aren't they starting to hit boats and stuff?
Well, orcas are a fascinating creature. They're the most dangerous creature in the world. They kill great white sharks for fun.
Really?
What they do is they catch them in their jaws, and then they flip them over because they can flip over, and that destroys them, like their swim bladder, everything. And there's an LA pod. There's different pods off of Los Angeles. They're just battle scarred because they enjoy killing. And in Monterey, in spring, the gray whales would come in and they'd hug the shore. Monterey Bay is beautiful, Steinbeck country. And they'd hug the shore, but occasionally a mother would go across with her calf.
Yeah.
Like straight across. And the orcas would be waiting.
No kidding.
And the orcas kill. They'll only bite out like the genitals. They're not killing for any sustenance or anything. They do it for pleasure.
Wow.
They'll breach in that. So when I was a kid, they used to, only man kills. But that's not true because chimpanzees and other hominids,
of course,
can plan and kill. But orcas kill. But they also are the only creature other than human beings that we know has culture. That
really?
The different pods, like the pods up in Puget Sound, they will not mate with each other, and they have different diets.
Really?
And they have a different language. There's parts of the language that are comprehensible to all orcas, but they'll have their own dialects.
Wow.
And they actually display what was always called culture. And they have a huge brain compared to their body mass.
Really?
So, if you're going to be reincarnated, might as well be as an orca.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, and I think you were thinking of the word barnacle.
Barnacle, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that, but Barnacle Bill the Sailor song. My father was a sailor in World War II.
Sailor songs are often kind of dirty.
Said Barnacle Bill the Sailor. It's barnacles, right? Not a carbuncle.
No.
Yeah, because there's a gooseneck barnacle.
There you go. But
there is, because that's when the guys were, in case you ever want to read the book, when the guys were in the raft, the gooseneck barnacles were they were trying to eat them for sustenance or whatever.
Yeah, put it on the title on the comment page, and I'll look it up.
In the Heart of the Sea.
It's called In the Heart of the Sea.
I can't.
I'll take a note.
All right, Shannon. Well,
all right.
Well, we appreciate the call.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Another orca fan. By the way, there's some breaking news.
About orcas?
About orcas?
About orcas?
About orcas?
About orcas? No, this is from the Irish Star. New UFO files shows strange link between flying saucers and JFK assassination.
And I had that story for you. We had Big Steve here, and you treated him like he was a damn fool.
No, I liked Big Steve. You know what it was,
just because he agreed with Roger Stone that there was a vortex over the White House.
Well, that's the thing. The satanic portal had me quite preoccupied.
But Steve has been working on that. He's talked about it on your show.
That's right.
You could have been the front. You could be down in Washington with Jenny.
That's true. I did miss out in that sense. But I did get this wonderful shirt.
Well, you're going to have Steve on your show again.
No, I'd love to have him on again.
Mean,
he was very interesting.
He's a strange person. You know, I've known him for many years. I met him in Monterey, California, by the way.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we are rapidly running out of time. But did you want to plug your show for this week?
No, I don't.
Up on the YouTube, I assume.
I really don't want to.
You never do.
I don't. I think that's vulgar.
But we finally got you to tell the Peter Bogdanovich story, because I don't know if you remember, but we've tried on multiple occasions to get you to tell us why you disliked him so much, and you finally told us.
He was insufferable.
Yeah, it sounds it.
I would use a filthy word right now, but you know, you've housebroken me.
Yes.
Mostly.
Who would you say you hold in lower regard, Peter Bogdanovich or
Christie?
Chris Christie. Yeah, that is what I was going to ask you.
Chris Sununu.
Oh,
we'll
really?
Throw a third one in there.
Oh, okay. And he'd be the lowest of the three?
Well, Chris Christie, this is it's like choosing between the worst dictator, mass murderer of the 20th century, Mao, Hitler, Stalin. I mean, there's a lot of competition here. In kind, if not degree.
Just to be clear, you're not suggesting that either Chris Christie or Peter Bogdanovich are guilty of mass murder. We just want to make that clear. Maybe Garth Brooks.
I have no idea why suddenly mass murderers are being offered shows on Fox News, but I think it's a healthy thing, a cleansing thing, part of what they'd call a homeostatic device to release the pressure of the society. Let them kill them on Fox News, you know, instead of running amok at like, you know, malls or schools and stuff.
They could lock the doors and do their own internal purge at Fox.
Oh yeah, you know. MAGA Nation can actually prove an asset to this country finally.
Oh my!
Providing the fodder for Fox for a big surge in the ratings.
Well, all right. Well, John, thank you. Always wonderful to see you.
Yes, and now you have been humbled to know that there is a UFO JFK connection.
I have been humbled.
I've got the Howard Hughes, Elliot Roosevelt part of that.
Oh my God, is that what's in those files we're still not allowed to see? That must be it.
Elliot Roosevelt, the son of the President of the United States.
Wow.
Franklin D.
Well, you've given us a lot to think about there.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, thank you, John. And of course, thank you to our friend Erich Pilcher for joining us in the first hour and for staying along with us today.
Erich Pilcher.
Yes, Pilcher.
The Pilchard of the sea.
Oh, my goodness. All right, we got to go. I'm actually going to leave you with a little Garth Brooks because I mentioned, I referred to this song earlier in the show. It's his cover of the song Hard Luck Woman by Kiss. And he did his own version of it in 1994. And we'll leave you with this. And I will be back tomorrow. If you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org. And at my website, mattconnerton.com. And be back bright and early, 7 a.m. for the morning show with Peter White. And that's it for us for now. I'll talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.